Well, hello, everybody. Welcome to the Corcoran Entertainment Show. I'm your host, Franky Corcoran, and we are here today with a new installment of the Thursday Think Tank with Christian and Friends. Joined, as always,
Hey,
Christian Patenta.
what's
Christian,
going on? What's going on, Frankie? You
not
good?
a. I'm doing great. I'm doing great, man. How? So Christian spent about 5 minutes before we started recording, trying to figure out what timer to use to time our segments. Did you find one that suits you?
Yeah, I'm going for old school. I've been going very analog lately with everything. I've been recording some new stuff, and I've been using this tube mixer that all my clients now use. It's guys, if you're interested in really good interface, it's a USB interface that you can use for your podcasting for all types of voice work. It's the ART tube mixer, and it's like two XLR ports, so you can put in any of your fancy microphones, and you can either have it digital or it can be analog, and it's tube and it's all warm sounding, so it makes you sound real great. You go from college radio to BBC in a flick of a switch. So yeah, I've been going with some analog stuff and some old school approaches to some ideas that I have coming up. I'll just quickly talk about something new that I'm doing. So the Freedom Forgers program that I run, which is neurodivergent disabled people, teaching them how to sing, act, dance, create, motion capture, motion performance, voice acting, just content creation,
Anything.
singing, anything, all of it, and getting representation as well as creating your own stuff. We're going to have another showcase coming up, and I'm hoping it's going to be on May the 4th because it's
May the
like
fourth
Star
be with
Wars
you.
Day. Yes, exactly. And we're going to do this thing where, because for each one of them, they'll be working a lot as voice actors this summer. It'll be their first summer out there with representation, auditioning, just going for it, being voice actors, living the lifestyle of an actor. And I thought, you know what they need for their demos is a musical piece, because there was a play that my friend gave me that was playing in New York City about 8 neurodivergent people. It looked like the cast of Rent, but autistic or neurodivergent, and I was like, see, I knew it, man. Like, we're here. And I was like, all right. So I was like, they need, because they're with an agency that deals with musical theater. They have a lot of actors, singers, dancers on there. So I thought, you know what? We're going to do another musical thing. We're going to record it for their reel, not like their Valentine's or love song album and not like their Christmas album, but this is for their reel. But also, what are we going to do for the visual part? And I was thinking, in theater school, we had this thing called Vocal Mask, which was the end of the year project that you would do. First year, it was 5 minutes on your own, where you'd pick a theme and you would gather text from poems, new articles, songs, plays, movies, books, literature, whatever. And you would make a script with showcasing all that you learned in any kind of style, clown, movement, song, dance, acting, just you name it, you name it, you name it. You could do it for 5 minutes based on your theme. And that was your end of the year project. And second year, you did 10 minutes, but with a partner. And then third year, you did 20 minutes on your own. So I was like, for the first year program at our Freedom Forgers Academy, I want them, the end of the year project is a musical piece that they do shadow puppets. They do
Oh,
shadow,
wow.
like shadow stuff, but instead of, like the famous people players, and people are, furniture and dogs and seagulls, and they're doing it like that. No, we're working with an animation company. So to take a blind person and have them dance on a dragon and do all these, sighted things, and transform, because dude, shadow theater was the original motion capture. I'm saying it now. I'm
That's the
saying it right
OG.
now. It really is. So I'm really excited because my Lynn Zelani, who runs the Freedom Forger program with me, we were looking for spaces, and we went and saw some new theaters, and I got really excited to produce not only this musical thing, the musical song of their choice, for their demo, because you need it for to be a voice actor. You need a musical piece on your thing now, because every cartoon that you do, especially early childhood education, you got to send in a song. So, anyways, I'm really excited for them, but
Even
I'm also
nursing?
really excited. Pardon me?
If you were going for nursing, would you have to send a music reel, a music demo?
This was going well. No, I'm just joking.
You said for anything you do, early childhood. I'm like, so for nursing, if you're gonna be a doctor, you gotta send in a music demo reel.
That's the way the world is now.
That's
That's the
unreal.
way. Did we not learn anything from Patch Adams? Did
Staying
we not?
alive, staying
Uh,
alive. Ah, 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 ah. That's what they taught us in CPR. I swear to God, they did that.
I remember having to go to Italian lessons on Saturdays, and gym class was doing the bird dance in the fucking gym.
Oh my
That was
God.
gym class in Italian school. Fuck. Damn it. That's why I only know how to count to 10, I guess.
Hey,
Still.
hey.
Hey. Yeah. That uno, due, tre, quattro, cinque, sei, sette, otto, nove, dieci. That da 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 da. That's all I remember. Oh,
Oh my God.
so glad that's stuck. Oh my god.
Oh my
Dude,
God.
what were yours? I wanted to stay home and watch cartoons. I wanted to watch what my future was going to be like. I didn't want to be in learning Italian. That sucked.
You're like, I'm just trying to make cartoons and watch cartoons and voice act.
Yeah, yeah, like really. I wanted my Saturday morning cartoons, man, but anyways, that's what I was up to the last little bit, and I'm getting excited because there's a whole new there's a whole bunch of new pockets of opportunities for myself and the people I'm working with, but also myself to get out there and start doing those little projects that I said I was going to do. I've been facilitating a lot of other people's dreams and helping them get where they're going. And so now I'm starting to look at my own and the people that I want to collaborate with. So this podcast and a few other things that we got going on in a collaboration with you and other people, like I can't wait. This is why I'm still sort of trying to piece this one together, the visual part, because I think I'd like to offer some animation to it. You know what I mean? Like just some thought bubbles and stuff like that, and just really like think tank, and just like make it
Literally
something
thinking.
very unique. So I've been very excited and bubbly with ideas. So that's what I've been up to. How about you, Frank? What do you got going on? We were supposed to meet up before, but you got called away. You had to do something. What was that all about? You had to
Yeah,
step in, Mr. Actor Guy.
Mr. Actor Guy. Yes. Well, for those you guys can listen a few episodes back, because at the time of this recording, to our Playhouse Quarrel Insider, which was the last play that we did, which actually, by the way, for those of you guys watching, this was a little gift that my cast got me of us
Yay.
on set. I'm somewhere in there. But yeah, they gave me a nice little gift on closing night to celebrate. And yeah, one of my lead act or my the show was more so of an ensemble, but the one of the leading men unfortunately fell a bit ill and was not able to perform. I knew this a little over a week before, and so I said, okay, I know your lines. I said I have time. Next day, I was just going through the lines and the blocking, and then we went on dress rehearsal, and we just went right with it. It was one that I wrote, directed, produced, all that stuff. So
And then
I
you
was
got to
pretty,
act in it too.
and I got to act in it
How
too.
incestuous. How'd it go?
Went really good, actually. It went very, very well. Uh, it almost felt like this production was cursed, because of course we were supposed to do it in November. One of our actors took a heart attack. He made a full recovery like 2 weeks later, which was amazing. And then we picked up rehearsals again, and it was like mid-January, something like that. And then we just finished it now. So it was almost one of those shows where you were like, shit, is this going to happen? And then once you're on stage in front of a crowd, you're like, oh shit, it finally happened. Like it was one of those shows that you just didn't think was going to happen, but the audience loved it. We had good crowds, and I'm looking forward to what's next. At the time, of this recording. There may be something in the works, which I won't divulge now because, I could say it now, and then in 2 weeks when the episode comes out, something happens and it's not through. But there are some things. Things are happening, and
will you drop hints, little Easter eggs? Because I always like it. Because when you told me about this, I was willing to come down and fill in too. I was
you
like, if
literally
you ever
were
need me, yeah, yeah.
literally.
So I just want an excuse to come out there and like help out for some reason. I just like, just show up.
Anything. Oh my god. Well, like that that would have been quite the draw. Holy god. Like, yeah. walk on stage and people are like, who's that guy? And then he starts talking like, Jude Lazowski or whatever. Like, holy shit.
Last time on Corcoran Entertainment.
Exactly. But
Franky couldn't make it in, so I had to step in. Whoa, did you just do it? You almost
I can't do it as good as you though.
Come on, man. Come on.
Wait.
Just give it like commit.
Hey,
commit.
all right.
Do the laugh. Do the laugh.
Oh god, I got left now.
You got it. You know what? Yeah, you got to stick it in the nasals and swallow it a little bit like this. You got to stick it way back, man. Now it's just weird. It's two guys. It's just two guys going.
We sound like we're stoned.
Man, it sounds like Beavis and Butt. I know, like, dude, how many 51-year-olds do you know that sound like this? Mom, you're embarrassing me.
Like literally, you don't hear that.
No,
There might be the one odd one who still lives, with his parents or something like that. You know what I mean? Who knows?
There's a lot of that. There is a lot of that. Yeah, there's a lot of that. But yeah, no, I've had people try to do the laugh, and there was one time on my YouTube channel, like when it first started, it was just crazy. Like, I mean, the amounts of because I was giving away autographed scripts, and this is like at the peak of the beginning of the frothing. And I did a who can do the best Christian Potenza contest, and they won all the stuff. Dude, this little kid, and this must have been about 12. This kid's got to be in his mid-20s now. But this kid comes out and he like I'm talking, he's under 10, and he's like da 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 da. But it was like it sounded so good because he got the cadence down. He listened to the cadence. And that's one thing I always teach. I teach job security with voice acting with all my clients. But he got the cadence down. That's the only thing you have to do. Don't do an impression, but get the cadence down and get the character down. If you get the character, the voice just comes, and the voice may ask for some accessories to be lent to it. And accessories are accents, dialects, speech impediments, and, throaty qualities, nasally qualities, all that stuff, gravelly qualities. And those are accessories. Everyone thinks that those are the voices. It's like, no, those are just accessories. This kid nailed it on the character, and he listened to the cadence. And do you know what? I'll tell you something. Most neurodivergent people that I work with can do it, but it just always comes out sounding like Chris and SpongeBob had a baby, because they all sound like they all have SpongeBob. But the thing is, they get the cadence. And I was like, if we worked at this, you could do it. You could do it very
SpongeBob McLean.
What's that?
SpongeBob McLean. Or Chris Sponge.
There's
Chris,
the show. There's the show. And then Patrick Star Chef. Yeah, dude. You know what? Total drama. There's better cartoons out there. There's better ones. I mean, back in the day, it was good.
Back in the day. It's still good though. People still love it. People still watch it, including a man who is our guest today, who was such a fan of you, or is still a fan. I make it sound like he's not a fan of you anymore. He was a fan.
We'll see about that. I'm going to give the Christian Potenza fan litmus test, and if he doesn't pass this interview, this think tank is done.
This just goes downhill. This is just scrap it. We're just going to delete the recording.
Well, this gentleman, you've mentioned his name. I can't wait to meet him, because his name came up like on the first day I met you, or after we released the pod, or when you said you were gonna, after we chatted and we said we're gonna do a podcast, something like that. I think it was on that day you texted me something.
Yeah, because he had his review of the episode that we did,
That's it.
the big exclusive episode, and was just basically just praising you and just said like, this man deserves everything. One of my idols, just you know, stroking your ego basically.
Not gonna turn it down, man. Not gonna turn it down. No,
Down.
not at all.
But today, guys, we have Kieran Crocker. Kieran is a actor known around here in the Miramichi. He played the Beast in the Rivermaid Productions production of Beauty and the Beast back in 2017. He's acted with us in Corcoran Entertainment in 2022. He was in House of Violations as Davey, the poker guy, and Death Costs Dearly as Holt, the tough guy, basically. And he is also doing a new show in April with Character Matters Miramichi, late April, early May. They're still kind of figuring things out. By the time of this recording, the dates might be set. But yeah, we'll just let him talk about that. What do you say, Christian? I should just shut up.
Let's do it. Let's do it, man. I'm excited to meet this guy. And yeah, I'm excited to hear some new ideas because I'm just like my brain is popping like Jiffy Pop. So let's do it.
Let's do it. Kieran Crocker coming right up. All right. Hey, everybody. Welcome back to the Corcoran Entertainment Show. I'm your host, Franky Corcoran, with this week's edition of Thursday Think Tank with Christian and Friends. I'm Franky. That's Christian.
What's
And
up?
oh, yes. Hi. I almost talked right over you. And we have our guest for today who is also, he's actually been on this podcast quite a few times before, actually. He was actually our third guest, if I'm not mistaken, in episode 3. He was, yeah. He's of course a local actor around here in the Miramichi region. You guys know him, of course. All the stuff he does with Character Matters Miramichi, Corcoran Entertainment, and he's also worked on Rivermaid Productions, most notably The Beast in Beauty and the Beast at Rivermaid Productions back in 2017. And he's also an aspiring filmmaker. Kieran, it's great to see you, man.
Hey, great to see you too, Franky. Nice to see
Right
you.
on, Kieran. Right on.
And it's a pleasure to finally get to meet, Chris McLean himself. I mean, I grew up watching Total Drama all the time as a kid, and just my 12-year-old self is freaking out right now at this.
Right
This is
on.
amazing.
Right on. Yeah, that's awesome. That's awesome. I love that, meeting up with people going, dude, since I was 12 years old. Because how old are you now?
25, just turned
Yeah.
25, actually. Yeah.
So we've been friends for like 13 years.
I've been
And
watching since 2007.
2007. Okay, so that's more that, yeah, dude. I've been in your psyche. We've been having conversations. I agree, I was there. I was there when I didn't know I was, and that's why I always love hearing, because like if I had a chance to meet people that I based my career around or that inspired me, I don't know where I'd be. You know what I mean? I ended up working with a lot of people that inspired me, but like that's why I'm very excited to hear your stories, of what you got going on. So awesome. So here's how this is gonna go. Okay. You get a chance to pitch who you are, and you don't have to sell it. You just get to pitch who you are. And then you get to talk about your great ideas, but you're gonna do it in a way that is a format in the industry. We have a thing called a slate where we give our name. It's our industry dog tag that for actors, it'll have our name, our height, our representation, our location, and any other stuff they asked for in there. Okay. So what you're going to do is say, hello, my name is, just like a radio host. And the laws of, just the way the laws of the universe work, 50% of the people like you, 50% of the people don't like you, but we're gonna aim to talk to those people that like you. Okay, so you're gonna introduce yourself and go, hi, my name is, I'd like to tell you a little bit about myself. And that's where you sort of table what you're going to talk about. That's where the people that don't like you are like, well, I still don't like them, but I don't know, I'll hear them out. Okay. And then the people that like you are like, all right, let's hear more. And then you talk about what you're going to talk about. And then while your audience is listening or watching you, they're relating their own memories, emotions, uh, uh, things that happen to them in their life so that they can make a connection with what you're saying, right? That's why at the end, you're going to tail slate. My name's Kieran. Thanks for listening, or peace out, or that's all I'm going to tell you. There's more about me, but that's another time. However you want to sign out, because while you're talking, if you slate, say what you're going to talk about and then talk about it, we're not going to talk or interrupt you. This is you. Okay. So the first part is you talking about you. So let us know a little bit about where you're from, where you're at, and where you're going. Okay, my friend. So we are rolling.
Okay. So my name is Kieran Jacob Crocker. I was born here in Miramichi, February 24th, 1999. I'm still currently living here, just, working overnights at a store and just doing what I got to do to keep on going. I'm also an aspiring actor and filmmaker. Like Franky said, I've done a few shows, and I have a lot of ideas in my mind that I would just love to unleash to the world and, share some of my passions, my inspirations with some people, and just, make people happy and give them something to really enjoy, much like I have watching the things that inspired me. And so there's three ideas I have for movies that I want to make. Very low budget movies that really anybody can make if they had the right amount of money. The first idea for the first movie I have, movie idea I got is a horror movie. The second idea I got is for a comedy. And the third idea I got is for a drama movie. So, of course, first I'm going to talk about the horror movie I want to do, because one thing you got to know about me is I'm a huge fan of horror movies, actually. And I don't mean I want to make a horror movie that's like, I don't want to make anything that's like artsy or fancy. I'm not trying to make The Shining or anything like that. I want to make a horror movie that is a straight up tribute to those old cheesy slasher movies like Friday the 13th and all that stuff. I want to make something like that, like set it in the 1980s. And this would actually be very easy for me to make, because these types of movies back in the day did not cost a lot of money to make. So, like, if I could get a fair amount of money around, like a few $1,000s, I could probably get, like, some actors, makeup crew together. And that's another thing I do. The kills in the movie would not be done using CGI or anything like that. It would be all practical effects. Since this is going to be a tribute to 80s slashers, I would want it to be 100% like an 80s slasher, and it would be makeup effects everywhere, fake blood, all that stuff. So yeah, that's what I would love to do. And I would treat all my cast members and everybody on set with the utmost respect, because after all, that's what directors must, even though we're making a movie about people getting cut off, I mean, everybody deserves to be treated with respect. My second idea that I have is for, of course, the comedy that I mentioned. Now, the other types of movies that I love are coming of age, high school and college comedies, like, American Pie or Fast Times at Ridgemont High. Now, I want to make one that's set in the early 2000s. It's another period piece. That's something I forgot to mention too. All three of my ideas here are period pieces that I have. And this one for the comedy, I'd have it set in the early 2000s, because just that vibe of early 2000s comedy is something that just, it's like lightning in a bottle. You can't capture it ever again. So, like, I'd like to do something like that where I'd have it set in the early 2000s. It'd be like a high school comedy, and I'd have the characters be like kind of like stereotypes, pretty much like the dumb blonde, the jock, the nerd, all that, kind of like the characters in Total Drama, actually, now that I think about it. And of course, it'd be rated R. Got to have some raunchy humor in there as well. But of course, I'd probably get some good writers to do that as well, some who can write some really funny jokes and put some heart into there as well. Of course, there's got to be heart there as well, and to give it that vibe of early 2000s comedies, I'd of course need to get some music rights because I want to put in like some Blink 182, some 41, that old type of stuff. I'd love to have that as the soundtrack. And so, yeah, that's the second idea I have for my dream movies. My third and final dream movie that I have in mind, this is the drama that I mentioned. This one being set in the 90s. Now, this one I want to do as it's pretty much like a coming of age drama about a group of friends who find each other in their senior year and go off to college. I probably have the time span of the movie be set like about 5 years. Now, unlike the other two movies, which are movies that I just want to have fun with, this is one where I actually want to put like my heart and soul and passion into. Like, I really want to make something that will make people cry. Like, I plan on making something that talks about the importance of friendship and family. And, you know, of course, with the right cast and the right crew, that could be something I could. And again, it wouldn't even cost that much money for me to make something like that. None of these movies would. That's why all three of these movies I have in mind are like the ones that I'd love to do because they'd be the easiest to make. So, yeah, those are pretty much all the ideas I got there. What do you guys think?
Give us a tail slate and then we'll know you're done.
The Tell Slate.
Hi, my name is, and thanks for
Oh,
listening
great. My name.
to all my awesome ideas.
Right. My name is Kieran Crocker, and those are my ideas.
Well, Mr. Kieran Crocker, that's I just like everything about you, especially your comic book name. You have like you have that like Buck Cody, you have that Kieran Crocker, like you have that
Peter Parker.
I don't know. Yeah, you have that Marvel name, like Kieran Crocker. Like that's why nice. That should be the lead for the now does do let's just first of all you've hit some things that I'm actually because in the 80s we were making these on shitty VHS camcorder, like, you know what I mean? I was there, you know, I was there and we were doing that with these things and they looked like that. And I think, dude, I had a vision of, first of all, I love all these ideas because I can relate to everything. And I have an idea for the horror film. Okay. Because I think the one that you should focus in on is the coming of age. Yeah, because if you want to be known as a filmmaker, if you come out with horror, you're gonna get sucked in the undertone, just like because it's gonna be awesome, and then you're gonna get a lot of like, hey, this is great. Next one, I'll put more salt. You know, it's like I'm gonna do this, and you may go down that way. Same with comedy. I think you should start off serious, but you could braid them all. I'm gonna show you how you can braid them all into one big one. But let's like, you know. It is a coming of age horror comedy set in, you know, it's just like there's some thing you can do a lot of stuff here because Franky and I were discussing that, you know, we're in the industry where I've seen, you know, feature films reduced to a meme, and I've seen memes turned into like a 13 episodic series, you know, like it's just like it's incredible what can happen in the age of just content. But the first one, the movie, the horror movie, does it have a working title right now?
No, I don't have any like working title.
You just like the idea of doing an 80s thing.
Yeah, Friday the 13th-esque type.
Okay,
thing.
so this is what I'm thinking.
Saturday the 14th.
Totally in Miramichi.
Okay.
In the mystical machine. The one thing that I want to change your mind about is like, I can do these for nothing. Like it'll be nothing. That's a poverty mindset. And, you know, if you're just going to do a cheap one-off, you know, just a little thing like a stunt, then that's okay. But you're like $5,000. It's like, no, man, if you get a great idea with a nice hook, you can get funding, like some good funding to at least create a sizzle reel. $5,000 will make you a sizzle reel to pitch it. You know what I mean? That's what I'm thinking. But thinking of your ideas, because that's something that when you mentioned it, I was like, old school slasher. I was like, we used to do that, like the not the Walking Dead, Evil Dead.
Evil Dead.
Yeah.
Dude, Evil Dead. We were there. I was kids when that came out. We were watching this on VHS. So we know this one. And what I would do if I was you, I would set it so that if you don't have a theme, you don't have a working title, you just see like this like you're like a focus group thing, like Homer Simpson designing a car. I want a cup holder here, here, and here. You're like, I want an 80s slasher film. It's going to be like this. It's going to be like that. That's great, because that's the best way to think about it. But I'd rather get you $30,000 or $300,000 and make it a thing. Or does it have to be a movie, or can it be a 6-part or 13-part series? You know what I mean? Because listen to this, listen to my idea and tell me what you think. And then Franky will weigh in. Or do you want to weigh in on this one first, Franky?
No, I mean, I think definitely, yeah, like the coming of age one is definitely the good, because it's almost like that's your what's the word I'm looking for? Like that's a way to get your foot into the door.
It's also the passion project that he wants, right?
And that's the passion project, exactly. And it's something that
he said comes from the heart.
Comes from the heart. Yeah. Exactly. And it's something you want, something that people can relate to, of course. I mean, of course, there is the, horror movie. I mean, they're not as relatable as, say,
the
something.
horror thing is more of just like a fun thing I want to do. Not putting too much effort into it, not like Oscar bait or nothing like that. That's just something fun I want to do.
No, absolutely. And that's why like a dramas where it's just real life situations, as opposed to horror movies where it's, blood and effects and stuff like that. I mean, even though you say, the kills aren't going to be done with CGI, it would just be all,
practical.
Practical. Exactly.
Yeah.
So you were to say something, Christian? Yeah.
We're gonna hit that one last, because that's the one I've already got. But let's hit this idea, because he hit a bunch of stuff here. When people pitch me things, like, remember too, guys, when you pitch, there's no real recipe in how to do it. Like, it's not always the same, right? There to get an option, or to get an option, and they just option your idea or your show or your film and stuff like that. You got to think, like, what is it that they want to, right? I'll never forget auditioning or pitching to CBC, and we were pitching a show about a border town, and we thought we were real clever, because this was like almost like Northern Exposure. Remember that show, Northern Exposure? Or were you too young?
Too young. I think I am. Kieran, how about you?
It was about a New York doctor who moves to Alaska in this crazy town. It was almost like a live action cartoon. Everyone was whacked, but he was the normal guy. But he ended up being like, I don't want to go back to New York. I just want to stay here. And it was great. It was an hour-long show. They play it on A&E, but look it up. It's one that we use when we make shows as like one of the, we base the, when they say it's blah, blah, blah meets blah, blah, blah meets blah, blah, blah. A lot of people will still use MASH. They will still use Cheers. They will still use some of the old school ones that base it around, because that's my generation of people that are now in our 50s and 60s running everything. We're still basing on it. And I remember going like, this show is so original, but it's like, it's a little tip to Northern Exposure meets that. And it was a great idea, but he goes, see that pile over there? Those are all border shows. So if you think you have an original idea, you don't. You know what I mean? That's why there's always vampire shows that come out, and robot shows, or alien shows, or zombies, and it goes in cycles. But the horror genre is always tried and true. So what you're talking about is what most filmmakers do. It's just like, I'm gonna put this one out there. I'm just gonna go back in the day. It would go right to DVD. It was just to make money. And that's all. That's it. It's like, I go in for 20 grand, I make 200. It's just like off of something. You're just flipping scripts. But now instead of DVDs, they just want content. So this could actually even be a webisode, an ongoing webisode. If you're going to go on the cheap, something that people can watch at 20 minutes at a time or 22 minutes at a time, still in a format, but keep going there. And it just could be the ticket that never expires. Because what I'm thinking is, because when we were trying to set you up and you were looking for a place, he goes, well, I'm just going to hold my camera. I was like, oh, Blair Witch. No, you'll be shaking and we won't be. Then when you mentioned this, I was thinking, when you started talking about it, because there was no idea, you just said it's an 80s thing. I want this in there, that in there. I started thinking, my friends and I go, wouldn't it be funny to have like a bunch of like, kids that are like 10, 11, 12, 13, 10 to 15, a pocket of friends, boys and girls in a small town somewhere, just, becoming filmmakers. And they end up hiring these people who are actually like killers and stuff like that. They audition for it. So they're filming it. So you get that sort of show within a show within a show, right? And if you played 70s music, if it was all dressed in themed in the 80s, but you put 70s in it, and then you added little bits of animation like thought bubbles or daggers or like mad steaming, just little things like that, and give it a hook, then you got something there. But I wouldn't waste it in a movie. I would have this as a webisode that you shot on, because you can shoot it on your goddamn iPhone. You should see what I auditioned for the other day using my lav mic. I was like, ooh, this is really good. It was like for a horror movie, but and I was like, this is really good. So when I saw this, when you started talking, I was like, what a great idea. A bunch of little kids trying to make a thing so we can get the in camera, that VHS look, you know what I mean? And shoot the film, but then watch that, shoot that afterwards. But these kids don't realize, because you said it in the 80s, they put up flyers, join our film, with their little wagon, like join our film. And then so these people, these actors come in and they're actually like fucking Jason or these killers, right? And the kids don't know it. And this is great. But that would be a show. And you could slide it over to like Evil Dead, where it's a little bit of like, that's so ridiculous and campy, that's funny.
Oh, yeah.
And that would be tipping the hat, because if you go back and watch some of these, they're fucking terrible. They're terrible. They're the worst, And so that's why tongue-in-cheek 80s, but play like 70s, late 70s or 70s music, the decade before, right? Just sort of mix it up a bit, and just like, and then just have some really cool soundtracks in there. And with a little bit of animation. That's what I would do with that thing, but I wouldn't make it a movie. You could make it a short and use that as a pilot to shop it around. I see this as a 13 episodes a season, maybe running 3 to 5 seasons. That would be a great option for that thing, man. And with a little bit of animation, and or you could put out a contest to like musicians. I did this when I produced a coming of age film called Moon Point. Check it out. It's actually quite good. Because we did use animation in it and stuff. But if you get bands to audition, and then each week you could play different bands in the show, right? In the show, just make it a total collaborative. So instead of, it's such a great idea, because there was nothing there except I just want to do something fucking cool in this genre. I was like, keep it going on, create a community, Yeah. Yep. And then I just love the idea of kids not knowing that they're actually filming murders and stuff like that. And, or like, getting into things like, because this whole thing, this whole season could be the making of the film. And then that way you can have, at the end of it, you could have the actual film that was shot on a VHS thing. You know what I mean? You could actually have the film that was made, and if you shoot it mockumentary style or traditional, still you'd have 2 films in one. You have 2 shows in one, which is brill. Okay.
Yeah. Wow. I mean, if I could definitely expand my mind off into that idea, I could probably, get it going or something like that.
Yeah.
Just
and that's one that just
tank. Yeah.
Yeah, but that's just one that can just has a life of its own, because there's no like, we got to get this shot. Exactly what you said. Like, drop the purse. It's time to dance. Like, screw art. Like this one's just for fun. It's about merch. Really, this is about just making merchandise, and hanging out with your friends and having fun.
Yeah, pretty much.
And get guest stars, like get a bunch of cameos and guest stars, right?
Oh, yeah.
And I would shoot it through Actra and use the co-op program. I produce a lot of stuff through Actra and the co-op program where I can get names or union actors for a set price because, hey, I just got to pay their insurance for the day on set, which I think is $5 a day for on set for whatever they're on. But I would run it through something like that and workshop it. And because it's of no risk, shoot it on some iPhones. And we have all the best recording equipment and with a bunch of iPhones and put in that look of the videotape in the 80s for that part of it, for the actual film. And like, just put it up online instead of making it a film. Just put it up to see what it does.
Yeah. I mean, I definitely would love to get something like that done as long as I could get the right crew together who could help me put that stuff together and all that and get the right equipment and everything. Yeah.
That's easy. That's an easy one. And you kind of want to aim for shooting mid to late October. I don't know what the weather's like where you guys are at, but with a little bit of leaves falling and a little bit of bareness and stuff, if you're going to go horror film, right? And you get these kids who are thinking they're like, we got to make it for magic hour. It's like, using all these industry terms and they're just kids, right? Because they're in the 80s. They're not influencers yet, but I like that. I would just get a working title. I would just get a working title for that.
Yeah. Working title. Definitely.
Do you have anything to add on the horror film, Franky?
No, I mean, that's a great idea though. Like what you're saying, like basically you could see it as a 13 episode, even like a mini series. I mean, who knows?
I would even go webisode.
Yeah. And do you have like a much ideas in terms of like story and stuff like that, aside from just like kids and stuff like that, or do you know much about that, or is it kind of you never made it that far into the development process?
With the horror movie, well, like I said, it's mostly just a tribute to Friday the 13th and all that, and those movies. It was just a bunch of teens going together to a camp, to a place where they shouldn't be going, and getting killed, drinking, and having sex and smoking and all that. So that's mostly what I just had in mind the whole time.
And know what would be great? To show everyone, to show this generation of teenagers what we were doing. That's why I like this, to show what Gen Xers did. We were feral. We were doing stuff like exactly what you're talking about. It's not like it is today at all. You know what I mean? So to depict that and go back in time would be great.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
That's why Stranger Things is so popular. It captures that time period with everyone.
And here's another angle we can take. We can do like, let's say I'm one of the characters, but it's modern times now. And I'm talking about back then, and all those things are just flashbacks. And it's mostly the adults talking about them as kids. So it's like talking to the cast of Stand By Me after they found the dead body. But like, how they said, and then later on in life, Teddy was ever that. It's like, no, what if you were talking to them like Harry Met Sally? You're interviewing them, talking about that. Like, and you could see how they all ended up because of that one time they made a film and they hired a fucking killer and they didn't know it. See, that's why I think wasting it on a film instead of a runner, you can get so many years out of like something like this, exactly like Stranger Things, a group of kids, but then you're talking to veteran actors. And remember, the cheapest form of animation is imagination. So if you have all these guys telling stories and acting their balls and tits off, just giving really good performances, and they do flashbacks, that keeps the shooting, like, it's just, you're interviewing somebody at their home and you write the scenes and the dialogue. It's just one person documentary style. And then you sync it all on the kids and you shoot that traditional wise. So now you've got three things going on. You've got the interview with the people, right? Then you've got the actual filming of the thing. And then you've got the actual film that will come out. And that film can be a standalone thing, like a cult classic on its own. But then, in the television show of all the kids, but then the adults and how they turned out. One guy can be doing his whole interview from jail on the phone. You know what I mean? like just going recounting. Yeah, those were good times. And he cuts to the other person on the yacht going, it was good times. Like boom, boom, boom. And then to go back and reenact them means you don't have to do so much shooting because we're just talking about it. Dude, I'm in on this one.
That's a good one.
I know. I see what I mean. I was like, this is exciting. I like it because you weren't specific. You're like, I don't know, shit happens. And it's a tribute. And I was like, brilliant. But my brain, I can see it now. And right now I'm seeing this show, right? I'm seeing that show right there as that's just a runner. And that's easy to do. You can shoot that all on your iPhone and you can still get funding for it.
Wow.
Right? You can probably attach a few names to it when it's just like, you know, if the actors, like older actors are just there, you know, like in their home, it's like very cheap to produce. So let's look into that because I don't know what the province of New Brunswick's grants are like, but I know here in Ontario, we got a ton. Telefilm.
Arts MB is one too. I remember
Yes.
there's a couple groups I work with who use them, and I mean, of course, with any grant you do, there's a process, but I mean, for what you're doing, I think there is good shot there, really.
And because and if we go with that thing about getting bands to throw in, like basically each episode, a band can they get to like, and we get to like put their music on iTunes because they're original tunes from bands that get to get played in each episode. So we're always introducing new artists, right? And platforming them. And that's just web content too, right? But remember, there's 3 different shows going on with 3 different looks: a documentary, a traditional Steven Spielberg kids magic movie, and then the actual friggin' movie that is being shot on the thing. Like, dude, print your own money, you know, like that's attractive. That's got hooks written all over. And if we add animation to, you know, just little, actually you wouldn't even need it because there's enough of a hook with seeing the older people playing it real modern 2025, right? And then the kids in 1980, but listening to 70s music with the odd 80s music, right? Coming in, but just get bands to do themed 70s, 80s music, but original tunes, right? And then the actual music for the film that you get badly scored. You know what I mean? Like, oh, dude, I'm so in. Okay, I'm gonna put that one. Actually, I'm tucking that one away, Frankie. I'm tucking that one in away.
That's a good one.
In the think tank. In the think tank.
Right.
Yeah, I'm tucking it because it doesn't have a name. It's like, let's keep that one close. Top pocket.
Chris McLean loves an idea of mine.
Awesome. Dude, I'm loving this one because it's all cylinders running and you're free. You're free to do whatever the fuck you want in this one. Like, honestly, you could have the actors just making up lines like Curb Your Enthusiasm and just let the actors run with it, script the kids, shoot it traditional, and then have like a professional DOP shoot the other one. But it's just like, you know, I played a movie called The Drain, came out, we shot it during COVID, and I was a news reporter. It was shot in the style of the 90s, like Blair Witch, but the whole movie, I'm behind the camera like this. I'm with a news reporter that goes down the drain. We get kidnapped and by these rat people and stuff. But it was a tribute to the 90s horror films. The Blair Witch is shot total 90s. So there was a cameraman in front of me wearing an actual cameraman who was wearing the same stuff as I would, but I'd be talking and they put a monitor on the back of the camera as if I was holding it. And then, so I was just with him the whole time. So I watched the whole film and acted the whole film behind the camera with just my voice until the end when I got, spoiler alert, I got eaten by the giant rat guy.
Shit.
Storm Drain. Check it out. Storm Drain. They put out 3 movies that were tribute to 90s stuff, the 90s creep stuff. Anyways, but that's what made me think of it because that market, dude, is huge. And the only reason people do that is to, well, not the only reason. Some people are really into horror, but that's a moneymaker. And it's just ongoing. It gets fans, man. Cult classics here. Good. Woo. think I need a cigarette. That was like exciting. That
Yeah.
was just like,
Check your
whew.
blood pressure, man. Like you're
Yeah. I got really excited on that one because you know what? I've been thinking about doing something like that. I wouldn't have picked that genre, but now that, you know, when he mentioned, I was like, that's why I was writing it down. I was like, wait a second, this sounds familiar. Why is it? Oh, because I have this idea. But now it's all there. I'm gonna tuck that in, Kieran. I'm gonna tuck that in my top thing because I really like. Let's talk about that.
That's
Because
awesome.
that could be a summer. That could be, you know, summer pre-production, shoot in the fall,
Oh yeah.
edit over winter, put it out in the spring or summer. That next summer, right when eyeballs are on, you know, after the kids get out of school. But or pitch it, you know,
Yeah.
like or just put it out as a webisode, do it yourself, let it get picked up, or make a treatment. I would work with you to make that a treatment, like to create a sizzle reel and put
Oh
that
yeah.
one out there. That's easy to do, that one there. Okay, good.
Potenza approved.
Yeah.
Oh right. Yeah. No.
Yeah, but
dude.
you see that? See how that works, Kyron? It's like putting out the fire with gasoline. You had a little ember there, and then we start talking about it, just whoosh. But you can see that one though. You can see that one.
Yeah.
All
Yeah.
right.
No.
So now tell us about this comedy.
Oh, the comedy. Yeah. So yeah, like I said, I want to do like a comedy that's like a tribute to like the early 2000s comedies, like American Pie or something like that.
Super bad.
You know, yeah. Oh yeah.
That was the
something like
first one that I marked down. I said 2000s super badass. That was the first thing I thought of.
Yeah, good. But yeah,
Yeah.
it would just be like a comedy set in the 2000s that would focus on characters who are like mostly just stereotypes, and you know, I would also have music in there like Blink 182, Green Day, Sum 41.
I was
you
gonna
know,
say go the decade before, so go 90s on that, right? Just
Green
like the
Day's
80s.
90s. Yeah.
Exactly, it's 90s. Exactly. But you can
Weezer.
get people to do covers. You know, I always like in movies when they do really obscure covers for songs. You know what I mean? But if you want to keep it dated and be right on the point, I would say, yeah, the early 2000s, but use mostly some like iconic 90s style.
Yeah,
Because
like
remember
Weezer.
that theme song will have tones of that song throughout it with like transitions, donuts, you know, bookends, all that stuff. So yeah, this is good. Now, I thought of John Hughes.
Whoa. Yeah.
John
Yeah.
Hughes.
Breakfast
Ferris
Club.
Bueller.
Yeah.
That traditional, like when you said the groups, right? In all John Hughes films, they're
Yeah.
all, this is the way I grew up, you know, you were either a punker, a jock.
Basket case.
Yeah, totally. Yeah. It was
Brain,
like that. We used to
athlete,
call them preps,
princess.
jocks,
Yeah.
Preps is one.
Yeah.
Yep.
rockers,
Criminal.
skids, yeah, rappers, you know. And then back in the 90s or late 80s, mid 80s to early 90s, we had you can't use it anymore, and we should have never used it in the first place, but it's a white guy that's thinking he's black, and it's a W, you know, W N word, you know that the word.
Rock on Trailer Park Boys, where he thinks he's
Yeah. Back in the day, used to call that a wigger. That's what we used to call. Dude, I auditioned. If you look at Braceface, that show Braceface.
Yeah, I know.
Oh, yes.
I was on that, and I played a character called Skeech or Screech, or I think it was Skeech, and they said he's a wigger. This was back in the 90s, and I was like, all right. So, but the thing was, I didn't like doing it because it was a little like, yo, man, know what I'm saying, you know, and I was all like, but they said, because that's back then you had a lot of that. It was coming out, you know, and I never liked that word, even when I was like a teenager, and then you say that guy's a that, and I was like, I still don't. I like, just because you're saying, I don't know, it's just not a cool thing. You're still saying the N word in there, but you're
just
making
switching
fun
the
of the
first.
white guy. Yeah, I'm like, it's not It's not cool. It's because this guy's white. But going back to that John Hughes thing, you know, like we were in that category, and especially if you're talking back in the 80s, like if you watch episodes of The Office, I'm watching some episodes of The Office. I love that show, but I'm watching it now and I was like, you could not make this show now. You could not make what they're doing. And that wasn't that long ago.
No.
It's like, woo. So this is why your dated shows I like, because
yeah, I'm capturing something that you can't capture anymore. Pretty much.
Can't capture, and you have the point. You have the access to show off that we can't do this anymore. Like these jokes and stuff, which I'm seeing a rise in now with the popularity of these comics like Shane McGillis, you know, who is completely saying that's gay, dude. That's gay. You know, friggin' retards. It's okay to say retards because I have my cousin, he has Down syndrome. I love him. They're the best, you know, and he's totally changing this average everyday white approach to it. Go like, I don't fucking care. I don't care. Like, I just don't care what you think. And this is what I'm going to say. Pronouns, this, that, the other thing. I don't care. Like it doesn't bother me. I don't have an opinion about it, but if I do, it's funny. But now life, like we're in a real mixing thing here. So when you're doing dated shows, this is a chance to comment on that and also help shape the or point the moral compass in the right direction, strengthen the moral fiber of what we're going through right now. So this is the one I would put animation in because it's a comedy. If you watch
exactly,
if you watch 30 Rock, that show 30 Rock, that's a live action cartoon. Like it literally is a live action. It's its own universe, and people are like, that would never happen in real life, but it is grounded in this human state, but it's not real, right? So that would be great to do a send up on that.
South Park. Very South Park. Yeah.
Very, very South Park. And I've been watching a lot of that lately. But John Hughes, if you can start studying some John Hughes films like 16 Candles.
Oh yeah. Classic.
Yeah, Fast Times at Ridgemont High, right? Like so classic.
And Ferris Bueller.
Oh yeah.
Like, oh my God, the best. So yeah, I would start thinking about your cast right there, because I love that you leave it open. It's just a dream, you know, and then it just starts to crystallize. But would you do a group of friends or would you do a hero? A group of friends or a hero?
I'd probably make it about a group of friends. Yeah, anybody's the main character, whoever it is to you.
Ensemble.
Pardon me? Ensemble. Yeah.
Yeah.
So like Friends, you want another Friends, but for
pretty much something like that.
You want a 16.
16 was pretty much Friends when you think
yes, it's true. Actually,
they based all of their cartoons on stuff that was, you know, live action. Friends. Yep. A group of friends. And how old are they in the early 2000s?
How old
are they? Teenagers?
Yeah, it'd be their senior year at high school, so they'd be 17, 18-ish.
In the 2000s.
Very, very super bad.
Oh yeah.
I just get pure super bad vibes, but animated.
Oh yeah.
Christian's just joined in.
Yeah, senior. Yeah, I'm thinking about it, man. I'm thinking about it. This is like.
Don't forget McLovin.
Oh, yeah.
He's got to make an appearance in there.
Yeah, but do you know what? I think we need a little resurgence of Glee-ish. I think this should be early 2000s of like theater students.
Oh,
the theater, because we all of us that were sort of in the theater group, because remember that was their own clique, right? And we were kind of outside of everything. Remember? I remember in Sault Ste. Marie eating my lunch under the stage so I wasn't getting fucking beaten up by the hockey team because I was into the arts, because that was Sault Ste. Marie in the 80s. Yeah. So I was like, art students were always, theater kids were always, they were labeled as theater kids, the weird kids, But if you made it about a group of theater school students, lots of inside jokes there. And you got a guy that has a theater company, and that could be a backdrop. I'm just saying. So, shoot the guy some money for for a set.
Woo!
Because there you go. Also with that, you can do the show within the show. Each episode could be a play, or for the whole season. I know you said film, but your ideas, I would keep as a runner.
There's like a mini series here, like 6 episodes or more.
Yes. Yes.
Could be another South Park where it's 30 seasons later.
Films are like not like, it's all about streaming. We don't even have a pilot season anymore because there's no fall launch. You know what I mean? It's just like all these streaming services, they just put up the whole season and it just goes. Right. But here's another great 13-minute. Now, as opposed to the webisode for the horror film, right? That could get picked up. But this comedy, I would say shoot it as a 22-minute, you know what I mean? Or a 40 something, a 40 something, almost an hour. I see that as a really good show. I think because those people, if they were 18 then, and you go 25 years more, how old would they be? If they were like, let's say they were 18 in 2000, my math sucks. That's why I went with the arts. You guys know? If they were 18 in the year in 2000, how old would they be? What's 18 plus 25?
18 plus 25 is 43. Yep.
So there you go too, dude. If you're even taking the same model back here where you do the documentary and the thing, and they like the Wonder Years, you can go back. There's me dating myself again. But I think that group of friends and having it as a runner, and like each episode can be about the play. Because remember, at the end of it, you could have the play, but then there's backstage, there's this, there's that, the other thing, and it's a comedy. And when was the last time you saw a workplace comedy or a sitcom, a situational comedy about a high school theater troupe or a high school like drama club? Nope.
Never.
Exactly. But think of all the people that we were all there. No one has done our story. You've done the football, the cheerleader, the science kid, the fucking chess guy, the special needs kid, for crying out loud, but never the theater school student who ended up to become an actor on all your fucking shows anyway. Wow. Was that inside? That was inside. Now it's on the outside.
I felt the anger just seep through the screen.
But I love that idea, a workplace comedy about a high school kids that are in a drama club. And it's all full of John Hughes stuff. It's high school. There we go. Okay, now we have 2 entries into the top pocket. I like these because these ones can just go up on YouTube, who is also looking for original programming, by the way. It's a platform, but they're also in acquisitions if you do it right. Okay. Okay. So now we got the last one, the coming of age. Or did you want to chime in on that one there, Franky? I know I just ran because I'm really excited about it.
You're super pumped. You're super pumped.
These are great. I've been waiting for somebody to give me some great ideas.
I mean, Karen, can you elaborate a little bit on the coming of age one? So it's the notes I got down here was set in 90s, coming of age about friends who find each other. Can you just elaborate a bit on like what you have for plot points and stuff and the characters?
Well, basically it would be another ensemble just like the comedy, except it would focus on these about 5 to 6 individual characters. I'd focus more on them individually and their stories and what they go through, their struggles. And then their first day of senior year pretty much happens, and they all run into each other. They get detention, sort of like the Breakfast Club kind of. And it's obviously I'm not going to straight up rip off the Breakfast Club and have the whole movie be like in detention. No, the detention part would just be something at the beginning, but like it would be how they all run into each other and meet each other and and then we take the movie from there about their friendship, and like a couple of them in the friendships would even end up being in a relationship.
Yep.
And it would start off as like a coming of age drama, but then as time would pass by, a couple of years later to them in college, and it shows some things happening. I also plan on having some like very tragic things happen in the plot. Like I may even have one of the main characters probably die in an accident just to throw some extra
Yes.
punches in there.
Yes.
But
Yes.
yeah,
As much as it pains you, you know what I mean?
Exactly.
And then as long as it also serves like an overall purpose to the story, like if it's just, oh, so-and-so died in a car accident and then they just never bring them up again, has to mean something. How does it affect them? How does it affect their friendships? You know what I mean? Like that's ultimately, like that. That's one thing, the deaths in movies and TV shows that they get wrong, in the sense that like the deaths have to mean something, like instead of just for shock value, especially if it's such a big character. If it's a character where we don't really know at all, it's like, okay. But if it's like one of the main characters, especially in something like this, where it's a drama that's, you know, uh, 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 you know, based on reality, you know what I mean? It's not like it's like, it's one of those genres where people are dying each week kind of thing. But if someone's going to die, and there's such a drastic shift in the genre and the tone, have it mean something and have it fit, you know what I mean?
exactly. Yeah.
That's what I'd
When
say. And I mean, I think there's lots. I mean, like developing each of the characters too is a big one too. And also there's something I just thought of too. You said at the start with the Breakfast Club, you're like, it's very like, I think when people are watching it, they might get that vibe right away. I think it'd be funny to even reference that kind of like, this feels like the Breakfast Club or something like that. Like just something that
It
feels
is
like,
set in
because
the 90s. This
yeah,
would be after the
exactly.
Breakfast Club came out. He's like, yeah.
Yeah, and then people watching it would go, "This feels like it's ripped off the Breakfast Club," and then they say something about that. Oh, okay, they're self-aware. Okay, it's not the Breakfast Club, and then you move right past it. So I think that'd be a nice little, not breaking of the fourth wall, but a nice little like nod to the audience. Like, I know what you were thinking. You were thinking we were gonna just do the Breakfast Club, but we're smarter than that kind of thing.
Yeah. Have fun with it. Yeah.
Yes, exactly. And I also love that because it's an ensemble, it gives you so much more room to develop all the other characters, because when you're doing a TV show or a movie or anything that's following one, or like there's only one protagonist, and then there's other side characters who, yeah, you learn about them, but it's really at its core about those about that one protagonist. I like that, in this ensemble, the ensembles tend to develop everybody equally, which I think that's perfect. I mean, like, you say like one might end up in a relationship, one might end up dying, and then just how does that all tie in, and how does that all make sense? So that's pretty much the only thoughts I have. Christian, how about you?
Yeah, I like this one for a bunch of reasons. The first reason I like this because the reason I'm so excited about your ideas is because you can shoot all of these on an iPhone, but you'd never see one of these in any of your shows because they didn't exist. And that is the before time. That is the before time, because when we did stuff like that, if you want to be accurate, it's like you guys would never really understand really what the way we talked and how the inside jokes and all that stuff were before phones. You know what I mean? Not you guys specifically, but most of the audience, right? If you're dealing with people that were in their teens in the 80s, well, that's us, and we're all 50 and 60 now, you know?
Yeah.
And so it's different. And like when I picture my parents at 50 or 60, I'm all like, they're old. Now I'm all like, oh my God, I'm seeing it. But the thing is, if you even watch the movies, I was even thinking when I watched my self-tape the other day, it's like I come from a different era. When I was at my peak, we were still shooting on 35 millimeter film. To do fast motion or slow motion, we had these big mags on top of it. Just like you can hear it go. I was like, I come from a different era. We spoke different. It's not that we had that transatlantic thing that old people did in the 40s. See, it's nothing like that. But if you listen to the way we talked in movies, you notice that in the 80s, we kind of reverted to like talking like the 50s. Everything was squeaky clean and like, oh, geez. It kind of had this wholesomeness in the 80s. And then the 90s, it turned. So we started dirtying it up a little bit. And then you got shows like The Sopranos on network television that are like, what? Like, they appeared. And then in the 2000s, it all started changing. And then YouTube shows up and social media shows up in 2007. And here we are after a pandemic going, it's all, we got 360 cameras, we got VR and stuff like that. But all those styles, if you shot them in the actual styles that they were, that's a hook onto itself. You can't shoot at modern 2024 about a high school in the 80s. You know what I mean? But you're going to have to split the difference. And I think right there, you have enough of a hook. And we've talked about the shows within the shows within the shows. But this coming of age thing, I think for this one, like even in the Breakfast Club, you had a group, but who was it really about? Judd Nelson. Yeah. One character. You need a hero. And then, like I said, you've got a hero super name. You know what I mean? But you could put that in there. It's like, get the hero, because all your stuff is like, I just want to see. What I like about you is like, I want to do it because I can see it. It's just this thing. And this is the thing. I'm not married to anything, but this is what I want to have happen in it. And I was like, those are the producers I like working with, because I'm the guy that can fill the bowl like nonstop, like the bowl of never ending chips. Right. And then, but I like this but I think for this one, I'd like to hear it from a hero's perspective. Yeah. And I wouldn't mind having that throwback, that narrator, but like the Wonder Years, that's a show I think you should watch. I think you were definitely too old or too young for that one, but I watch it because it's narrated by Daniel Stern,
Marv,
and Fred Marv. It's narrated by him, and Fred Savage is playing the younger version, but he's narrating it in a past tense, but also live right there. And Fred Savage is reacting. So I love that inner monologue, because you get away with a lot more with the narration. So if you could have somebody that's 2025 talking about being high school there and narrating it, that would help your vehicle a lot more. Okay. And cuts down on a lot of accuracies of the, because you can shoot close-ups and not have to worry about cars and cell phones and hairstyles and clothing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
In the background. But I'm telling you, the clothes right now on the kids look exactly like 90s. Like it's totally like that. It's done this total flip back. I'm seeing these wide-legged things, but I really like this. I think it should be narrated by one person, and I think there should be a love story that is definitely tragic. It should not be a Sam and Diane like, will they kiss and stuff like that. That'll happen, but maybe they're show the grittiness of what happened, not the way the movies were done back then, in the 80s or 90s and the 2000s. It's more or less like show it really happened, because like all of us, we thank God there was no social media, TikTok or anything when we were teenagers in the 90s.
Oh my God. Can you imagine?
Fuck no. Nope. I can't. There are some people I run into from the 90s and we look at each other and be like, we can barely look each other in the eye. I go, you good? Yeah, me too. All right. See it. It's just like shit got weird in the 90s, and we were reckless and we did not care. We were smoking everywhere. Ecstasy just showed up. There was a lot of new, but I love this coming of age, and this one I would throw in some animation as well.
Oh yeah.
Checking for ninjas, Kieran. What did you use, Kyron? Did you
see no, just family's upstairs. I'm just making sure like you guys can hear me right, eh?
Oh yes, absolutely. Yeah.
Great.
Yeah.
But yeah, the animation thing though, yeah, I would love to have some of these be animated, because like I said, I grew up watching some of the cartoons you were in, Christian, and you know,
What
I would
about
love
this
to do
being a cartoon? What about this being not a live action, but a cartoon, an animation, but
like
making
the
it gritty, like making it an adult cartoon, not like
yeah
16, but making this the love coming of age, an animated feature or an animated show.
yeah something like that.
Because, dude, you can do anything, right? You can even have a time machine. But I think, consider, or maybe even a hybrid, like the Ricky Gervais show where they would narrate the podcast. Have you ever seen that? They're just talking and then they narrate it.
Oh
I think what would be interesting is you could, once again, with the flashbacks, because you're going to you're looking at eras, that's going to cost you a lot in clothing, vehicles, like things from back then, because a lot of them are retro, like, well, I need a rotary phone for this scene, you know what I mean? But the thing is, if you do the people, if you do a narration or get somebody to give a testimonial, like this lead character, let's just call him Kieran Crocker, but if you're interviewing him as a 51-year-old or 50 or 60-year-old, and where they ended up, or each the group where they ended up, and when they do flashbacks talking about it, you animate those as if it's a dream, and that's animated.
yeah, well, yeah, kind of like Space Jam, sort of, but not really. No,
kind of like the Muppet Show, where Muppets and humans live, but in the memories, because you could have somebody, because they're just sitting around talking, and they can reenact it, but they're sitting around talking. Somebody can go, "That's not what happened." And like, well, what happened? It's like, okay, well, the curtain was opening, and then we go back, and like, this is a funny thing where every time it's just remember in the 70s show, and they're smoking up, and every episode they're smoking up and the camera goes around.
Oh yeah.
Do you remember this at all?
Yeah.
No,
I don't remember that. No.
On that 70s show, did you guys ever watch that?
Oh yeah. The joint circles. Yeah.
The joint circles, right?
Yeah.
So if they're all sitting around talking, that's kind of fun, where they're sitting around talking. So each episode, you can have this group of friends talking, or you can have this group of friends later on in life, and then it could be narrated over by this lead character, and it just like he could see that love interest and go, yeah, she's married now and she has kids, but I don't think she's happy in her marriage. Let me tell you about this one time. And they go back to it, and then you can see it from her perspective, and but all their youth, this coming of age could be animated. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
What happened?
Hey, guys, I don't mean to, rush things or cut things short, but my phone is at 10%.
Oh, Jesus.
Yeah. Fuck. Shit.
Do you have a charger that comes with your phone that you can plug in?
I got a charging pad, yeah, but like it doesn't, like I can't use it on like any
right.
Oh no, I can't use a charging cord. Like the slot doesn't work. I can only lay it down.
I love how game show your face is right now. You're like, guys, you look like it's like, guys, what am I gonna do here? I love this, dude. I want to create a game show with you based on all your shows. One big show.
Oh, damn,
on trivia about shows that haven't been made yet.
No.
I like the way you approach things. You as a person, I can see that you have these great ideas because you're not bound by anything. You're like, I can do it for cheap. And I was like, yeah, I like the way you're thinking, but don't say that. Don't say that. Don't go into the poverty mindset, because when just in the past that I did with your stuff here, these are pitchable, and I'm looking for stuff because I work with people who are looking for stuff. Now, if you have these ideas and let's say you approach Netflix or HBO Max or CBC or CTV, Bell Global Media networks, and you said, hey, I have these ideas and I think you might like them, because before you went in, you would find out what they're looking for, and then you contour them to meet their thing. Okay. So let's, I think you got 3 great ideas here, because I love them. And I think there's enough room. Yeah, they're really good. They're really good. They just need they need another session. What I would like to do with you is I'd like for you to um go away for a bit and sort of think about these and then come back and go in the order that I would like to do these. You know what I mean? I'd like to do a follow-up with you and not really say anything, just see what you do. And then I'm also going to do the same. And I might talk to Franky too. You know, like, well, he'll do his thing, I'll do my thing, and then Franky and I will come up with stuff. And then I'd like to do a follow-up.
All right.
I'd like to do a follow-up because I'd like for you to come up with a title for each one of these things, a working title, just a working title.
I definitely got to cook up a title. Yeah, I'll definitely think on that.
And a bunch of cast members. And remember, all you need to make it, here is the character cross. You've got your hero up at the top. You've got your villain. I'll just write villain. You got your sidekick and mentor. Okay. So you've got your hero up at the top. You've got your villain. You've got your sidekick. You've got your mentor, and you've got a wild card in the middle. If you have these 5 characters just to start with, that's all you need. That's alchemy right there.
Yeah.
Okay.
Build a story. Yeah.
So how about this, Franky? Can we do a thing where we'll run a session and we'll record it, and we meet up with Kieran after he's done some fleshed it out a little more in his way, and then you and I will work together and just sort of come up with some formats, and then we'll do a session where it's a follow-up. Because they were so like open, I'd like to meet with him in like 4 weeks.
Yep, absolutely. Yep, 4 weeks.
And then we're gonna have a spitball. We're just gonna get right into it. Okay, we're just gonna have a spitball on all these 3 ideas and actually move forward with something, because yeah, let's do that.
So much potential here, man. So much potential.
Super
so great.
I don't want to just go, okay, good luck with those. I was like, no, I want a piece of these, because this is stuff that's in my wheelhouse and I like and you nailed all things that I can get into because I was there. But I know some peeps that might be interested in this, right? And if we use a co-pro, provincial co-pro, there's some federal funding we can go for as well. Think of the music, the soundtrack. Like, I just see it so full of great soundtracks that people can buy featuring artists, like to that keep it going. I love those shows that put up new songs every time, and then at the end of it, I'm just like, what are those songs? I love that. I'm impressed, man. I'm impressed. I know they were loose ideas, but as a creative producer, because that's what you are, I like your approach, man. I like your approach.
Oh, thanks, man. It's awesome to, hear one of my childhood icons praise my ideas.
Yeah. Absolutely. See, that whole time since 2007, it's all led up to this point. This is why this communicated so well with me. I was like, dude, we've been talking since 2007.
Oh, yeah.
Can you do the Chris McLean laugh?
Or my laugh?
Do it. Okay. Instead of take out the grunt and go into your, it's all in your nasal cavities. I have a lot of help with this beak. That's what makes me this. Yeah, you laugh, Corcoran, but this shows like a, yeah, but less grunt. He's go. Yeah. He's close. Okay, guys, take my hugs and high five workshop, and we'll work on giggles. This is awesome.
Damn, 4%.
4%.
Hey, we got to wrap it up, Corcoran.
All right. Yeah. Well, guys,
I really don't want to leave though, because I'm having too much fun with this. But unfortunately, my phone is telling me to hurry up. So
we're gonna do a session that may or may not be up here. It's just for us. We're going to record it, but I want to do a spitball session. This is something I wanted to do with new people, but it was going to be later on. This is like a step before production, because this is things that we can start working on right now. Because think about it. If you want to roll in the fall, at least one of them, let's get cracking now. There's enough here to, let's go. Do it.
Woo.
I'm in.
Perfect. All right. So as Kyron's phone dies down, Kyron, do you have any final words that you like to say to the listeners, to Christian, to me, anybody?
Yeah,
Listeners,
if you here's one. I'd like you to slate and say hello, my name is, but also if you were giving advice to anybody that was just starting out to push out their ideas, whatever, what advice would you give them?
hello, my name is Kieran Crocker. That's what I plan on legally changing my name to. And if you have an idea and you want to do something that can just, get you out there and be something greater with what you're doing in your life, just go for it. Don't let your anxiety hold you back. Don't let depression bring you down. Just go and do that thing that you want to do so badly. And also, since Christian Potenza is on here, I'm just going to go ahead and say it. All of Total Drama is on Netflix. Go right ahead and rewatch all that for nostalgia value. I definitely am. So, yeah. Sometime this summer.
Right on, man. See, let's make a cartoon together.
All
Let's make
right.
a cartoon together. Let's make one that's like bigger than Total Drama right here.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Let's make art.
Thank you so much. Yeah, let's make art. Beautiful. So before you go, Kyron, I want to do something. We've been mind hiving all night, and before your phone dies.
Yeah, 2%.
What card am I holding right now?
Is it? I'm just going to take a guess here and say it's an 8.
It's the King of Diamonds.
It's the King
It
of
is
Diamonds.
not.
Okay. All right, King of Diamonds.
Close.
All
He
right.
tried.
Close.
Yeah.
Thank you. And I want to thank you for bringing out your awesome ideas and being open to hear Franky and I just kick it around with your idea. And I want to talk more. So I'll see you in about 4 weeks, dude.
All right. You too, man. I'm excited.
Awesome.
Nice meeting you. Thanks.
All right. And great seeing you, buddy. And guys, we will see you guys for the regular episode this coming Tuesday. We'll see you for the Think in 2 weeks. And as Christian says, because he didn't say it yet, it's not bragging if you're actually doing it. He always ends the podcast.
That's what's up.
Yeah,
Right
I
on.
said something's missing, so I just said it. Thank you guys, and have a great week.